Silk-Reeking is not the external feature of turning and twisting the body. Silk-Reeking is the way that force twines and untwines through the body. Hi, I'm Grant Kleiman from Darsana Martial Arts. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you'd like to support us or join our online academy, there are links in the description. All right, let's get to the lesson. A common misunderstanding I see, particularly amongst practitioners of Chen style, the style that I practice and teach, is the notion that simply turning or twisting, particularly the arms, is silk-reeling. And of course, when we're performing silk-reeling, the arms do turn in whatever particular pattern that you are practicing, whatever it is, there is rotation in the limbs. And this is a feature that is fairly easy to imitate externally and then have the sense that you are silk-reeling. But silk-reeling isn't about the turning or twisting of the body. It's about spirals of force moving through the body, and the turning of the limbs, the turning of the waist, even the turning in the legs is all an external manifestation of the forces moving inside or beneath the surface. Let's just take single arm rotations for a moment. I can rotate my hand inward, bringing it towards the midline, can fold the right claw, I can sit down into the stance. My structure can be in the right position, my posture in the right position, and then rotate to the left, fold the left claw, rotate the hand out, relax the shoulder, and go through this movement, turning the arm, the hand, twisting the waist. I can do all of this and not be silk-reeling. Silk-reeling happens when the whole body is connected internally. That means that our alignment is good. The body is arranged in such a way that the pathways of force are there, and that we are sung, we've released the tension in the muscles, open the space in the joint, open the internal cavities of the torso, and that now force can pass through, unobstructed through the body. But the body is a series of interconnected parts. When force moves through the body essentially unfurls as the force is being passed through it, kind of like if you had a rolled up sheet of cloth and you threw it out and the sheet would unroll and whip out and then lay across the surface. It's a little bit like that, but of course our bodies have a bit more structure and are a bit more complex. My turning inward, for example, happens because I am sinking the weight and force in the hand and in the torso, and that force is sinking down to the yang chuan point in the bottom of my right foot. I'm not going to then actively use the muscles in my arm to twist myself further. Sometimes I'll teach students exercises like this because through that stretch they can better feel the interconnectedness of the body. But ultimately, I'm merely keeping the joints open, right? I'm keeping the tissues released and sung, and I'm feeling the way that the arm naturally moves as I sink the force through. Then I let the force rise up from the foot towards my center. I feel it travel up and around the torso, opening the shoulder and elbow further and extending to the palm. I follow its trajectory with the mind, and it turns my arm as much as my arm's going to turn. It doesn't turn it more. I don't express a shape or a posture with the hand. I permit the force to move through the body, and then once that force is extended out, naturally, it starts to sink back down again. In a normal cycle, that almost happens of itself with just a little bit of guidance from the mind, just a little bit of intention. But I'm not deciding how far I turn. There are two factors that decide how far I rotate. One is the force that's rising from the right foot and extending to the left hand. The other one is my alignment principles, what we refer to as our return to Wu-Ji, right? So as I open and as I move, on the back end of every movement is this return to vector equilibrium within the body. So at any point, if I were to stop that force and settle, then I end up settling into something close to Wu-Ji, something close to where the forces in the body are all neutralized. And now I am simply finding that and refining that in my body through this stillness practice. To move, I simply release that force through the body and guide it towards the Yang Chuan point in the right foot. So this is Silk-Reeking. Silk-Reeking is not the external feature of turning and twisting the body. Silk-Reeking is the way that force twines and untwines through the body, loading through the soft tissue and joints, moving pressure from the ground to another point in the body, perhaps the hand, and back to the ground again. So if you practice a style of Tai Chi that employs what it calls Silk-Reeking, try to see how the body naturally approximates the general motion and shape of your style. And try not to stylize the movements using tension in the body. This is what I refer to as making shapes or holding shapes. We want to be aware of this because this imposes force externally onto the internal forces that might otherwise move unobstructed through the body. And this may soften your turning and twisting a bit. It may not be quite as expressive, but it will be a truer, cleaner transference of force or jin through the body, which is ultimately what Silk-Reeking is about. It's about the way forces pass through the body. That is what we're doing. So I don't want to impose a shape. I want to open the body. I want to ting. I want to listen. I have the general intent of the direction of motion, and then the rest is what forces move through the body to generate that direction of motion, and on the back end of it, in the wake of it, the alignment and release that is returning me to Wu-Ji. So that is what decides how much I turn or don't turn. So avoid creating tension through trying to express an external shape. See if you can find how that external shape is expressed through the natural transference of forces through the body when you get your alignment good and rotate the dantian and let those forces exchange through the body and wind and unwind or open and close through the body.